Hey there guys, and welcome back to another reaction video, mainly because I've kind of forgot the time and yada yada yada. Same old, same old. Anyway, today we will be reacting to the Buddhist practice of changing a woman into a man. Huh. I probably should have read the full title before deciding on the fact that I was going to make a reaction video on this. Well, anyway.
There was a Buddhist belief in medieval Japan that a woman couldn't reach enlightenment. She had to transform into a man or be reborn as a man first. The Buddhist community had some lively discussions on this. Nuns were in the discussions, which is interesting. What did they think about all this talk of growing a pee-pee? For a long time, Buddhist monks had a creative writing class, and a common prompt was how to lose female friends. One popular idea was that a Buddha had 32
There's a
special
surefire way,
features
though.
on his body, one of which was a well-sheathed penis. It's tucked deep in its sheath. A Buddha's penis is not erect. It's lodged inside like a shy diglet, because a Buddha has self-control. But this is a problem for women, because if Buddhas have peepees, and women don't got no peepees, women can't be Buddhas. Now there was a counter to the PP argument, but it was hard to grasp. Anti-PP arguers claimed that the main point of Buddhism was that nothing was permanent. All things were fleeting, so things like penises and sex and gender were temporary too. They had no true meaning or reality. Therefore, people were neither male nor female. Someone wanted extra credit in their philosophy class. There were a bunch of different views on the women problem, actually. Let's look at them. One view was that women were enemies to men. They were impure because they always had smelly, unclean things flowing out of their bodies. They were greedy, jealous, and lustful. One Buddhist leader said you could approach lightning bolts and snakes carefully, but you should never approach women. Escape was hopeless once in a woman's grasp. Comparing women to snakes was common. Of all the weaknesses,
that's just evil.
The weakness for women was the worst. Now this was pretty extreme and wrong. Boba tea is the worst weakness. This snake women view was mostly preached to other monks, not the public. Monks couldn't do the sex, so they had to be scared into abstinence. The road to celibacy is paved with cobblestones of fear. Now, monks had mothers, and mothers were women. How did they deal with their mothers being evil? Monks were actually super worried about this, and many of them did religious activities to make up for how shitty they thought their moms were. Doing things for the temple reduced the bad karma for their mothers to help mommy on the way to salvation. Now, there was a less extreme view, a more popular one. Women were not enemies, just lesser humans who couldn't reach enlightenment. Phew. Monks preached this view to the public, especially when talking to women. People were born women because they racked up enough bad karma in their previous lives. This sounds bad, but it meant you could do things to collect good karma and be reborn as a man after you died. The best way to do this
and then get a crap ton of negative karma again.
People thought words were kind of magical. When you copied Buddhist teachings, you transferred the teachings and a part of you onto the page, combining them, blending them into a smoothie of you and holy letters. Women, especially nuns, often copied scriptures that mentioned the problems with the female body, hoping to become a man in the next life. That's cool, but we can do better. There was a view that women could transform into men without even waiting for the next life. Followers of this view believed that being a man or a woman was a state of mind, not of body. Manly qualities were things like courage, intelligence, and wisdom. Someone who had walked far on the Buddhist path was a great...
So most women nowadays are men.
Because a woman could become a man just by having those manly qualities and by practicing faith. A woman who understands and practices Buddha's teachings, that's a man. And a man who sucks at Buddhism, that's a woman. Gender meant spiritual understanding.
A guy who sucks at Buddhism. Yes, I'm a woman.
Women were the mothers of Buddhas. Some people were like, wait, mothers were women? And those who reached enlightenment all came from their mothers. So although women's bodies were unclean, they must have contained some pure essence that could grow into a Buddha. When a mother gave birth, she put into her bebe an inner Buddha, allowing it a tiny possibility of becoming enlightened, which the kid will probably squander. Also, Buddhas often used a human body to communicate with humans. Since women birthed these bodies, they allowed Buddhas to do their jobs, helping people reach enlightenment. So you could say that without women, there would be no enlightenment. Since women have this pure essence within them, they're not totally impure. They could get rid of the impure parts through Buddhist practice, and they could become enlightened without even changing into men. Now, there were female monks at the time, nuns. What did nuns think about all this talk of them being dirty and inferior? There were writings from nuns who believed that women could become enlightened without changing into men, but they made their arguments indirectly. They ignored all those negative views, didn't even try to argue against them. Instead, they wrote about famous historical women, women who even the monks admired. Like nuns wrote about the Empress Komyo, who was an influential woman in the imperial court in the past. By medieval times, she was already a legendary figure. She spent her life spreading Buddhist teachings and was credited with founding a bunch of famous temples. Hard for a monk to poop on the founder of his temple. Nuns described Komyo as having purity, like ice and jade, and having absolute faith. They promoted the idea that she was a bodhisattva, or a version of the famous bodhisattva, Kannon. The nuns were saying in their writings, so maybe you can be a woman and enlightened at the same time. Curious. Now, being reborn as a woman was not that bad, but if you gained enough bad karma, you could be reborn into the worst, most hopeless places in the cosmos, the 8 Buddhist hells. Click here to learn about that. We have some new patrons this week. Kate Zhao.
Alright, that's just, goddamn. Well, anyway, I know this was kind of odd, but then again, this is coming from someone who isn't religious whatsoever, aka why I made the remark, guess I'm a woman in that, according to this. Well, anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever I'll be making, and hopefully something a little bit more normal. So yeah, bye!